I want to go into something I've touched on a couple of times, and that is how you're your own worst enemy. Most people do not want to admit that, though. That's the huge holdup and issue. There's always people always find excuses or reasons to not see fault in their own behavior and the way they perceive the world and the things they do, and then wonder why things come back in such a horrible fashion. Now, I want to touch on this just for a moment. The free will issue. I have said, and I truly believe that you do not have that much, that you don't have free will throughout your entire lifetime. There's a bunch of circumstances and a bunch of explanations I can give. Go watch my video, Temptation of Free Will. Now, someone in the comment section laid this out perfectly about the fact that teenagers, the way he worded it was perfect. Go look at that comment. But basically, it was like you're designed to fail at first because your frontal cortex is not developed all the way. You have not really got a great understanding of the world and how it works. You're easily influenced and hormones like crazy, and it's kind of like you're designed to fail, which I absolutely agree with. But not, and I am going to take it one step further though, and say that I don't believe free will is a factor throughout the. I don't want to say the majority of your life, but I want to say throughout a big portion, not even a big portion. I want to say free will is not a factor throughout a portion of your life. There's many examples that I can give that just leads me to believe that's the case. But I do think free will is achievable, and you get free will. You have free will. You will get it. Free will is one of those things that will probably be debated till the end of time, whatever time is. But so going into this, so I just want to get that out of the way, because even though I'm saying that, I just want you to look back on your life and realize where all the big downfalls went and who the finger is pointed at. It will be at you. And the only thing that will prevent that from happening further is there's a couple things here. You got to have self-control, self-belief, and realize the only thing that can stop you or make you fail is yourself. That is the absolute truth. There is no outside influence that's controlling you. There's nothing else but yourself and how strong your will is, and how strong your value system is, and what you can be tempted by, and the decisions you make, how much you let your emotions get the best of you, how much you let anger control you, how much you let greed, lust, and all these things control you. So ego is a huge thing here. Now let me separate ego, because I don't truly, like, when I say ego, I'm not talking about you as the ego. I'm talking about the ego you've built up, the monster you've created. I'm talking about that. I'm talking about a super inflated ego that you have built up over your entire lifetime, and that you can slowly unravel and unravel. You can absolutely achieve that. So that's what I mean with the ego. It's a lot of ego is the downfall here. So the mind will play tricks on you, because that's what it does. So you can overcome it. It will play tricks on you. So let's just say you set out to do something. It can be something simple. Let's just say that you want to be able to run 10 miles within 60 days. That's a pretty lenient amount of time to be able to run 10 miles. So let's just say about 10 days into it, you're only up to 1.5 miles a day, and then you start thinking, well, this is stupid, I can't do this, or this is dumb, I can't, why do I even want to do this? So you set out starting to do something, your mind's telling you can't do it, then you think it's stupid, then you give yourself excuses and reasons not to do it, and then you just fail. So you're the only thing that's going to make you fail at anything you try to achieve in life, and that's just simply the truth. And to go one step further here, let's just say that you are, and these are all just examples I'm pulling out of my ass, really. Let's just say that you want to You decide you want to be a better friend. You don't want to gossip at work. You want to be a better worker, better husband, wife, father, whatever. And in doing this at work, you get annoyed, you get frustrated, you get angry, and you start gossiping about people. Then that gets back to the person that you were talking about. Then it turns into a huge altercation. Then you concoct something in your head that makes you out to be a victim and everybody's against me. So it, in turn, comes back on you. That was your own mistake. It's your own worst enemy. So you set out to do something, tried to do it, and then your own self got in the way. And these are just petty little fucking stupid examples. Like if you want to be a better boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever, and you have a tendency to look at to look at other people, or you have a tendency to flirt or lie or whatever, and you're like, I want to stop this. I can't do this. This is not right. And then somebody starts flirting with you. Then if you cannot hold your ground and control yourself and say no, then that's going to happen. Now, then a cause and effect comes into play, because you're going to do that. You're going to assume that your partner is doing that because you've done it, so you projected that out into reality, and quite possibly your partner may do it. And no matter what bullshit reason you want to come up with, it is directly caused by the effect you started out with. It's simple as that. It's may not agree with me, may think I'm talking out of my ass, but it's the truth, and I can. You just have to unravel these things to see what the cause and effect of things are. I don't know if I necessarily believe in karma the way people want to describe karma, but I do think you get back what you put out. Just put it like that, in one way or another. You get back what you put out. So all these things, the people you associate yourself with, if you know you shouldn't be talking to people, certain people, and you know that they push things that you're trying to quit or don't want to do, or they just, let's say they gossip, or they start drama, or they lie, they steal, they cheat, they try to manipulate, whatever. Why would you hang around them? Because you're setting yourself up to fail. You're your own worst enemy in every sense of the word here. I don't think people realize how true that is even. It's just, no matter what, like, no, I can give, it doesn't matter the example or what you want to talk about. You want to bring something up to me and say, well, how is this my fault? How am I my own worst enemy in this? 80% of, let me just put it like this, 80% of everything you've ever experienced negatively in your entire lifetime was due to something that you started a reaction towards. It's just the way it is. And I can't express enough how your perception of things will either benefit you or screw you over in the end. I cannot express that enough. I really cannot. And that's another example of how you can be your own worst enemy. If you want to go out here and look like everybody's out to get me, the government's trying to fuck me up, everybody's a liar, everybody's only after money, everybody's out to step on the little man or whatever, then that's going to be true to you. So you're fucking reality up. You really are. You are screwing reality up. And that's the exact opposite too. And if you go out here and think, well, this is a good place, look at it like heaven, and try to find the good and everything, it's not hard. It's not hard to find heaven, and it's not hard to find hell. It's just where you want to give your attention and look at. So at the end of the day, it all comes down to you. That's what I'm saying. If you decide you want to accomplish something, well, guess what? You can absolutely do it. You just have to try. So if I'm telling you you can accomplish pretty much anything you want to set your mind to and actually follow through with, then why aren't you achieving it? Well, there's a couple of answers to that. For the most part, you're not trying. You don't try. And for the second part, if you do try and you quit after a week or two, then again, you're your own worst enemy. Either way, you're your own worst enemy. It's just matter of fact with it. I've seen people use some of the craziest excuses ever for their behavior, for what goes on. They can't admit to themselves that they're the problem. It's always someone else is the problem. And I've met quite a few people like this in my lifetime, and it's sad to watch. It's sad to see. It's just I used to be like that. So I guess I can appreciate it more whenever I see other people doing it, how heartbreaking it is to watch. I mean, I have been friends with and worked with people that just always complaining, always looking at the worst, always making excuses for every little action they have, always blaming someone else for actions they have, making up complete lies and fabrications that you you know it's a lie, you can't prove it's a lie, but it's like this shit can't happen every day. Like you have to be the unluckiest person in the world to for everyone to just single you out and pick on you, or you have to be the unluckiest person in the world to have crazy tickets or to randomly get pulled over by cops and get searched or just all this crazy shit, man. So I don't know. Try to help somebody like that. Go try to help someone like that and find out what happens. It's put up a brick wall. They accuse you of attacking them. They play the victim, and it just starts the whole cycle over again. There's a lot of cycles in life. It's like life is pretty much reality is pretty much a strange loop, and life in itself is pretty much a strange loop. But the cycles that play in life with certain people, or even yourself, take yourself for an example. I'm sure that you go through cycles. I'm sure you go through things you have to realize you need to break out of, and you just keep doing it and repeating it until it's broken. And it seems like I'll put it to you like this: it seems like Groundhog Day when you're in this scenario, because I've been in this scenario a couple times. It seems like Groundhog Day. It seems like you're waking up every day's the same day. You're doing the same shit, and eventually you just get so miserable. The suffering gets so much to bear that you realize that you need to snap out of it. Or the better proposition here would be to voluntarily do it, because it can get bad and you don't want it to get bad. If you catch a cycle and you catch yourself in a flaw, or you understand, just be like, watch yourself. I've said it before, just watch yourself. It's easier said than done, but if you can overcome your mind enough to have the ability to observe yourself and notice things that are happening, repetitive cycles, patterns, behaviors, uh, things like that, then you can break out of it easier than if you just go along with it and just act like that's normal daily behavior. There's there's just a whole lot to cover here with how you're your own worst enemy, but I don't know how else to. I mean, it's in every it's literally here. I don't like using the word literally, but literally 80% of everything that's ever happened to you in your entire lifetime is your own fault, down to the smallest detail and up to the greatest big detail. It's all on you. It's all on the way you think, the way you perceive things, the way you can control certain repetitive cycles and behaviors. It's just the way you can control yourself and not fall into things you know you don't need to fall into and do. So that's where the temptation comes in. And then that's where the free will starts kicking in. So I hope this helps anyone out there, because I learned the hard way I was my own worst enemy. A couple different times, actually. It wasn't just one time. Over this past year, I've been thinking about that. Like, people want to talk about evil forces and dark forces, and there are no evil or dark forces. It's you. You are good, you're evil, you're dark, you're light, you're whatever you want to say. And that's just simple as that. That's where the devil came from. That's where I believe the God or Jesus, whatever you I don't want to necessarily say that's where God came from, but I do believe that's where the devil came from, and I do believe that's where the Jesus character metaphor comes into play. Because you can be a shitty person, you can be a great person, you can be all in between. That's one thing I probably wouldn't try to find a balance on. I say find a balance on a lot of things, but I'm striving to be Christ-like, so I'm not trying to go back into being a shitty person. So take the advice, don't take it. Realize I'm telling you the truth, or don't. It really doesn't matter at the end of the day, because you're probably going to do what you're going to do. But love you guys, and again, it's just a game of form and a play of life. I'm you talking to you. So let's fix it, you know? Let's actually wake up and change. Change yourselves, change the place. Be fantastic.